Here's what's coming up on Retirement Planning Made Easy.
It's very rare for somebody to pass away right after they spent their last penny. So the planning is there for legacy or wealth transfer in some way, regardless of the situation.
So the right advisor is extremely important because the right advisor is going to look at every piece of your picture and they're going to bring it all together. And they're going to make sure that one piece is in communication with another piece and that they are working together to meet your goals.
It's good to have those plans in place and just be aware of what the possibilities could be. But with those written plans in place, you are eliminating, any surprises that might arise.
I've got accounts, Brian. I've got a whole pile of money. I'm all set.
Right.
Oh my goodness, you are not all set.
No. You have investments, but what do those investments mean to you? How does it talk to taxes? How does it talk to healthcare? How does it talk to income? Which now a lot of people that are going in are close to going into retirement should be looking at how and where does our income come from?
And now, the host of Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Welcome to this week's show.
We've got 30 minutes of great information prepped up just for you.
And the show starts right now.
This week on the Roundtable, we're talking about planning for healthcare costs in retirement. Brian, this is a big deal.
Big deal.
And I know that in working with you guys for so long, that not every advisor helps their clients with this. Not because they don't want to. It's not in their wheelhouse. No. It's not something that they normally do. So I want to start out by saying, if you don't plan for this, this could be potentially how much that you have to come out of pocket for.
Yeah, over a lifetime, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Healthcare costs are not going down.
Yeah, and if you're not working anymore, where's that money coming from?
Right, it's coming out of your portfolio. It's going to be less money you have to do all the other things you want to do in retirement.
So clearly, Lucas, this is going to have, or potentially have, real impact.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to get, take this to a sad area, but I recall a story where the husband had become ill, and the wife became the caregiver, okay, until there was no more money left, and then they went home. She had to take care of him. So here was the twofold problem. She became the caregiver, he passed, and she was left with nothing. Mm-hmm. So what an absolute total nightmare that, Brian, in my opinion, doesn't have to happen if you do some planning. So though that was a tough example to talk about, for some people it might not be far from what could potentially happen. Fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair, and I think probably the gist of that is the idea that most people don't have any plan on what they're going to do about that. And that's the starting point. Have a plan, whether you're self-insuring, whether you're going to actually look at some formal type of plan, coming up with that of whatever you could do to help mitigate that situation. But the most important thing is planning there, and most people don't look at it. First of all, I don't think it's a fun topic to discuss.
It's not a fun topic.
But I think that doesn't make it a less important
topic. It's a necessary topic.
Right. So the idea would be, is what we like to do as part of our process, the TOP program as we call it, the TAG optimization process, is healthcare planning is a big part of that. And we feel it's necessary. There's a lot of times the process that we're going through and everything, it's just part of what we do. And why we design it that way is we think it's the right thing to do to help people. Because again, you want to look at all things that could affect their retired life, not just something to say, well, I'll help you with your retirement planning or investment planning, but I don't do healthcare. Who is better suited to help them with their healthcare than their financial advisor?
Right, because the impact of that could be really great. It's something that you need to talk about. In fact, I think it's really important for people viewing right now to understand that there is something called holistic planning. There is something called comprehensive wealth planning that goes beyond a number of the total of your accounts and potentially taking a percentage of that. Because there's other pieces. Lucas, there's the Social Security piece. There's the healthcare piece we talked about. There's the potential tax reduction piece that we talked about. All of these are part of that, the estate planning. So when you get holistic planning, the odds of you having an incident financially that you didn't expect goes down significantly. Fair statement?
Very fair, yeah. It's good to have those plans in place and just be aware of what the possibilities could be. But with those written plans in place, you are eliminating, any surprises that might arise.
Yeah, and I'm going to take one other piece because I think the whole Medicare, right? There might be a misnomer as to...
A disconnect.
Yeah, like, oh, that's going to pay for everything, Brian.
Right.
I have nothing to worry about. What are you talking about?
Right.
It's not going to pay for everything, is it?
No, there's a disconnect there. There's no doubt about it. And the disconnect come down to the idea to say that Medicare is going to take care of it, or Medicaid, or whatever. In reality, that's not going to take care of very much of it, if any. And so it just needs to be part of your planning. You need to look at it, and then you decide from there what makes the most sense for you.
We've done this in a lot of shows, Brian. It's always a tough topic, right?
It is.
But it's like, that's tough love to say, we need to talk about this. It is a reality. Father Time always wins at the end of the, Father Time always wins. Let's have a plan in place so that we don't have a financial surprise that could wreck us for the balance of our retirement. Lucas, Brian, thank you so much. Tough topic today, but if you want more information about it, hey, pick up that phone, give us a call right now. We'd love an opportunity to talk to you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
At the Advisory Group, we understand the importance of smart tax planning. Maximize your returns and minimize your stress with our unique tax efficiency strategies. Don't let taxes weigh you down. Keep more of your hard-earned money. Call the Advisory Group today to experience the freedom of tax efficiency planning. Call now or scan the QR code on your screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991. Welcome to Mastering Retirement with TAG. This is our educational segment, and what we like to do in these segments is educate you on some topic. Today we're going to be talking about retirement blind spots. And we like to use the word blind spots because as you enter retirement, there are a number of blind spots that can derail your trip. Now, we use the analogy of a car. As you're driving down the highway, you're accelerating, and that is you accumulating assets over time as you're working. You're accelerating and building those assets in your retirement accounts or your non-retirement accounts. That is a pretty easy thing to do. All you got to do is press on the accelerator. But as you near retirement, that's when you get into traffic. And there are other cars in your blind spots that can cause you issues if you don't pay attention or don't plan for those blind spots. So let's go over the 4 biggest blind spots we run into. Number 1 is blind to knowing your number. Your number, you might think at first I'm talking about the number of assets that you have or the number in your accounts, the total value. And that's true, that is one of the numbers. That is very important because you have to have enough money to retire, right? I mean, that's pretty simple. You have to have enough in your accounts to meet your income needs, whatever they may be, and that is very important. But there's another number that's also very important, and that is your age at retirement. How old are you going to be, or what date are you going to retire? And a financial advisor can do a very good job of helping you determine what that number is. In fact, that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is working with people and giving them a date that they can retire. It's a super fun thing to talk to somebody about because it's one of the most special times in their life. They get to stop working and do whatever it is they want to do in retirement. So analyzing those 2 blind spots, it's really 1, is very important. Number 2, the second blind spot is not being blind to factoring in life expectancy. This is one we see all the time, and I'm going to tell you a little story about this. We have a client, they're a married couple, and they entered retirement together, and they were about in their mid-60s. And the husband in the relationship, unfortunately, died unexpectedly. He died young, around his 70s. The wife is left then with their retirement plan, but their retirement plan was built for 2 people. And they didn't factor in what would happen if one of them died young. So for her life expectancy seems to be very long, but she was left with less income after he passed away. So when we plan with somebody like that, what we have to factor in is, what if both of you live a long time, or what if just one of you does? And when one passes away, what happens to the income of the one who is left? And what if the one who is left lives a very long time and needs a lot of income? So it's very important to keep your life expectancy in mind and factor in for that potential blind spot. The third blind spot we see is relying on old strategies in today's retirement. This is a very common one because the old strategies are still talked about quite frequently. We see them on TV, we read about them in newspapers. An example of an old strategy is something we call the 4% rule, which is that you, in theory, should be able to withdraw from your investments at a rate of 4%, and they should last for your entire retirement. The problem with that rule, and rules like them, is it may be true or it may not. You won't know until you try to do it and run out of money, unless you talk to somebody like us. What if you don't have enough money that 4% of it will last for your entire retirement? Are you just unable to retire? Maybe not. That's something we can help you figure out. Those old paradigms are no longer relevant in today's retirement world. It's just not right for everybody to rely on what we call a rule of thumb. And for you, you are a specific individual, you are special in your own way, and a financial advisor should reflect that in their planning for you. The last blind spot we see is blindly not seeking out the right advisor. You may have an advisor that you're working with currently. You've worked with them since you were 20 years old. That's great. But is that advisor right for you in retirement? Some advisors are much better at that accumulation phase or accelerating the car down the highway than they are once you hit the distribution phase or when you hit that traffic. We like to think that we specialize in both, but we are particularly adept at that retirement phase, when you have all those variables coming at you and everything changes and you need income and you need health care and you need all these things that you never really had to worry about, or at least not as much as you do in retirement. So the right advisor is extremely important, because the right advisor is going to look at every piece of your picture and they're going to bring it all together. And they're going to make sure that one piece is in communication with another piece and that they are working together to meet your goals. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, please give us a call or go to our website.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Now more than ever, it's vitally important to review your current retirement plan and get an educated second opinion. Hi, I'm Lucas Dengler, and for many American retirees and pre-retirees, this is a confusing time. As a local business here in the Quad Cities for over 30 years, we have educated thousands of families on how to retire well through all market conditions. Call now or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement True or False. Gentlemen, I've got some great questions this week. Brian, Brad, we ready?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, I'm going to begin with you. All financial advisors are capable of putting together a great retirement plan. True or false?
False. A lot of the tools that are available and so on can be utilized, but most are looking at investments. That's what we find. A lot of people come to us, we go through their initial meeting and help them in their consultation, and we find out that they have investments, maybe they've done a little retirement planning, but they haven't done anything like our TOP program, where it's the TAG optimization process, where they've gone through and looked at all areas of their financial picture and their life and what it means to be situated where your financial plan is looked at and connected from many other areas.
This is an important thing, Brian, that this proprietary process in helping people with their retirement, it's worthy of taking a minute or so and talking about why is this so helpful for people today for retirement in the context of comprehensive wealth planning?
I think a big part of it is the education process financially in general, is most people have never had any formal or any type of education on what it even means to put together any kind of financial plan. It's really been kind of more ingrained to say save money, save money, save money, but what does that mean? So what our program does, the top program, is really looks at it from the viewpoint of saying, okay, you have your situation, what should you be doing with that from a holistic point of view? How should you piece it together rather than just saying, well, I have retirement money?
I think it goes deeper than that for me because I love this so much and talking with you guys. What are the elements of that, the pieces? Because people want to know, oh, I've got accounts, Brian. I've got a whole pile of money. I'm all set.
Right.
Oh, my goodness, you are not all set.
No. You have investments, but what do those investments mean to you? How does it talk to taxes? How does it talk to healthcare? How does it talk to income? Which now a lot of people that are going in are close to going into retirement should be looking at how and where does our income come from? And then what does that mean for taxes? And what are the blindsided things we talk about that are like the required minimum distribution in the future, or the Medicare Part B surcharge? How is that going to affect us?
Brad, my next question is for you. A retirement income plan is the most important piece of your retirement plan. True or false?
True.
Big old true, right?
True.
A retirement income plan is definitely a very important piece of anyone's retirement plan because a lot of people think of their retirement savings as essentially a savings account that hopefully earns higher interest than a savings account, but that when they hit retirement, they'll just start withdrawing from it willy-nilly, however they want, and they'll live, within their budget and just use it that way. Well, the problem with that plan is you're not taking into account taxes and unexpected expenses and what is the best way, the order of operations to pull that money out. And if you do it the wrong way, you can sacrifice a lot of money.
And I think people don't necessarily realize that. I think they simplify it down because they're not in the financial services industry.
Yeah.
I have saved very well. I've accumulated a beautiful pile of money, and I'll just turn on that faucet when the time comes.
Yeah.
But there are so many other things to think about.
Definitely.
Social Security, health care, right? Taxes, which is very big for you guys, and getting that bull by the horns.
Yeah.
Fees, right? All of these things that go in there that, hey, when you get into retirement, you don't want this surprise to hit you when you could have planned it up years earlier. Fair statement?
That is a fair statement.
And Mark, another thing that gets overlooked is there are specific programs, products that we have available that are focused on income. Some of them guaranteed for life.
Guaranteed for life.
Yeah.
Brian, my last question is for you. At 59 and a half, you can do an in-service distribution with your company 401k. True or false?
It's mostly true.
Mostly true.
For the majority of people, most of their 401k plans, for example, would allow for what's called an in-service IRA rollover, which then they could roll over to an IRA and utilize it for whatever might be the planning that they're looking to do from there, be it get income off of it, be it use it in tax efficiency planning, like convert to Roth IRAs, things like that. The only issue on that or caveat would be is not all 401k plans allow for in-service rollovers. So someone would want to look at if their plan does allow for that, which we do help our clients with. So we help them look that up and make sure theirs is available.
So immediately what comes to mind is that a taxable event when I roll that money from my 401k?
No.
Okay, that's a big deal. And it might stop some people. Hey, I can't move that money. I'm going to get taxed on it if I move it over to something else. But you do not get taxed on that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It would be a tax-free rollover.
You know, my next question is, there are benefits to moving that money, right? Because in my 401k, there could be significant fees, but one thing that we know for sure is that there's very limited choices, right?
Right. And that's one reason somebody might want to do it, consolidation. Some people just want to get it away from the plan, because it was part of the company that they worked at in the past, that they have no connection to. But a big part of it is you now have it going through somebody like us that we can get help on. Right now, the majority of people that have their plan in an old 401k or even at the current one, maybe aren't getting the help that they want or the planning
Right.
that they need.
Gotcha.
It also opens you up to the entire world of choice for investment. You know, like you said, there are limited options in a 401k typically. Well, outside of the 401k, there's every option in the world, and we help people find the right one for them.
Perfect. Brad, Brian, thank you so much. If you want more information about any of the topics we spoke about here today, pick up the phone, give us a call in the office. We'd love to start a conversation with you. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
We can talk all day about Social Security, taxes, healthcare, income, and risk. But the truth is, your financial journey is unlike anyone else's. Hi, I'm Brian Nauman with the Advisory Group. Even a small difference like your age, assets, risk tolerance, or longevity can mean a big shift in your retirement strategy. That's why we created our customized TOP program. It focuses on the 6 most important issues that can help you make the most of every dollar you've saved for retirement. With over 30 years experience, we've developed a holistic, personalized approach to financial planning that puts you first. Please don't leave your financial future to chance. Call today or scan the QR code on your screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask Tag, where you email your questions into us and we answer them right here on the show. Lucas, Brian, I've got some great questions this week. Brian, I will begin with you. This question is from Mary in Bentendorf, and she writes, what are the best ways to set up a legacy plan that maximizes wealth transfer and minimizes taxes for heirs?
Well, Mary, this is actually part of our TOP program, so the tag optimization process. One of the areas in there is wealth management, which includes legacy planning. So the legacy planning that we would work with you on is looking at the areas and things of what are important to you. So going through kids, grandkids, charities, keeping in mind tax efficiency within that. So there are definitely some ways. Some of the ways are like Roth IRA conversions could be a good consideration. Life insurance may be a good consideration for legacy planning. We obviously would go through the process of working with you, looking at your situation within family, within the issue of what you're trying to achieve, between family, charities, and so on, and then make the appropriate decisions on how we could do that and look at what it means for you, not only now, but going forward in the future.
Brian, how often do you see someone come in and their legacy and estate plan is buttoned up tight?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of pieces to it, right?
Right.
You've got the wills and the trust and this legal document and that legal document and where's all this money going and who are the beneficiaries. And I love the beneficiary piece, right? Because I got told this story from an advisor that he was reviewing something with the new wife, and on one of the documents, the beneficiary was the old wife. Mm-hmm. And do you think if something happened that the old wife would say, hey, here's the money back, right? And it's one example of, hey, are all your beneficiaries properly in there? All of these little pieces, I would think, in the show today, if something warrants a phone call to have a second set of eyes review all of these pieces, there's sometimes a little something in there, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, that can be a big difference down the road.
Well, another one that comes up in the play going off of that is the issue of somebody that says, it's very common we get from somebody when we're talking about what's your feeling of legacy or, about heirs, okay, beneficiaries. And a lot of times go, well, they may be doing better than I ever was working, or they may, they'll give reasons, or I don't mind if they have some, but I'm not focused on that. And that's okay if it's not part of their portfolio. But at the same time, we want to point out that it's very rare for somebody to pass away right after they spent their last penny. Mm-hmm. So the planning is there for legacy or wealth transfer in some way, regardless of the situation.
And let me go one step further with this. If you don't have the planning in place, what kind of mess do you leave behind for your family? And you've seen it, right? Where people come in and little to no planning, and what is already a tough time is now turned into a big old mess.
Yeah, it could be something as simple, do you have a will or a trust? It could be as that simple.
Lucas, my next question is for you, and it is from Juliet in LeClaire, and she writes, I'm 73 years old and have to take RMDs this year. I have both a 401k and an IRA. Can I take it all from my 401k?
Hey, Juliet, that's a great question. We get this question a lot from our clients that are just now turning 73, right around that time. This is a confusing topic, but generally your RMDs cannot be combined. If you have your 401k and your IRA, you must take your required minimum distribution from both of those accounts. We can help you look at those account types and ensure that you are following those correct guidelines to make sure you're taking those withdrawals correctly. And also with the proper planning, we could help you minimize the taxes and maximize that withdrawal to ensure other favors for yourself down the road.
And you may want to consider consolidating, getting that they are the same tax type. In other words, make that 401k to an IRA, or if you have a 403b to an IRA or whatever, get them in an IRA. It just makes it easier for not only you, but for heirs in the future.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not stating this incorrectly. I think it's called a QLAC, where you can, instead of taking out your distributions from your RMDs and giving them to your charity, the charity money can come directly out, which creates a different tax implication.
Yeah. There's different things you can utilize for that. QLAC is one where it's more like longevity planning. The qualified charitable distribution is the other one.
Okay.
And that's where you can actually have your an amount go directly to a charity, and it would count towards your required minimum distribution.
Yeah.
And obviously satisfy that you don't get taxed on it at the same time.
And just to follow up on that, we have a ton of clients that they're later in life, they don't need or want the income, so they write their RMD directly out to a church, to their favorite organizations. We see that all the time.
Could be charitable giving, or it could be gifting within family too.
Yeah.
Is this where I put up the link to charitably give to me? Is this where I do it right here?
Sure.
Guys, thanks so much. If you want information about any of the topics we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office. We'd love to start a conversation with you. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Now more than ever, it's vitally important to review your current retirement plan and get an educated second opinion. Hi, I'm Lucas Dengler, and for many American retirees and pre-retirees, this is a confusing time. As a local business here in the Quad Cities for over 30 years, we have educated thousands of families on how to retire well through all market conditions. Call now or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Thanks for watching today's show.
And if you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office or go to our website.
The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.